This is Alan Baker and Bob Berge. We are the Association Director and the Technical Director of Eric Paulson's Combat Submission Wrestling Association. Welcome to the CSW podcast. Okay, guys, today we're going to have Master Pedro Sauer. He is the founder of One Spirit Martial Arts Academy in Herndon, Virginia. He is an 8th degree red and black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Master Pedro earned his black belt personally from Helio Gracie and Rickson Gracie in 1985, and he is considered one of the most technical instructors in the industry. Hey, Professor, how you doing? Thanks for coming on with us today.
Good, my friend.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. I know you guys moved into a new school recently in Herndon, Virginia, and I was wanting to ask you about the move, everything that was involved. Is it a bigger space, smaller space?
Yep. Yeah, we moved from pretty much 4,800 square feet to almost 10,000. So it pretty much doubled the square foot, and we moved to a better area. Where when I moved to Virginia, I moved to teach at the One Spirit Martial Arts, and they were down the streets from here, just like a block from here. And the school was very successful in this area. And for about 5-6 years, we moved to another area that was in Sterling. And over there, the school suffered a little bit. We went up to be in a second floor, not visibility. It was a very traffic area. Tons of cars go by, but I was in the bumper to bumper. Not so many people coming in. So this area here, we have a pretty much triple the size of walk-ins. We got about extra 100 new students since we moved here 6 months ago.
Nice.
So it's coming pretty good.
How many students do you have overall now?
Right now, we got about 300. And then when we moved here, we had about 200. We kept this 200 for 5 to 6 years on the 200 level.
Next thing I was curious about is the Jiu-Jitsu Global Federation. Rickson Gracie put it together recently. And I was curious what your thoughts were on the future of the federation.
Well, my thoughts is this. I think Rickson has a great idea. He put together a nice group of guys. We have a lot of good people pretty much involved in that, helping out. And the idea was trying to bring Jiu-Jitsu, bring back to the roots of self-defense. And when you talk about back to the roots of self-defense, I'm talking about, the early days that Helio Gracie, 125, 130, 135 pounds, challenged and fought several people, 250, 230, 260, huge guys, open challenge. All the time. And in my personal opinion, the only reason that Helio Gracie was capable to do something like that was because he was heavily involved in self-defense. And as an old-time practitioner, as I've been doing jiu-jitsu for more than 40 years now, 44 years to be precise, I see a lot of champions today, a lot of people who fight in UFC, a lot of people who does incredible jiu-jitsu practitioners. When they get together with you and you talk about jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu, they are monsters. They will tie to like a pretzel. They go to your back, they choke you. They are good at what they're doing. But the only thing that I see is that they are using moves. For many years, they use a lot of moves that are designed to win a competition. Moves that desire to score 2 points. Moves that desire to use a strategic way to make your opponent give up advantage. And you end up having an advantage against your opponent. And in the end, you end up winning. And what happened with this, that build habits. And those habits come to be very strongly, very powerful when you put about MMA or gloves or fighting. When the punches start swinging around left and right, we're happy that we all go back to the basics. Because our plans, as you know, when you get in a fight and somebody punch in the head, every plan that we have go down to the drain. The only thing that works is your basics. So basically we have hundreds and thousands of people that they are black belts in Jiu-Jitsu, but they are black belts in sport Jiu-Jitsu. And what they're going to promote from now on is going to be our sport oriented. And eventually down the road, Jiu-Jitsu is almost going to be like a judo. It's going to be almost like a taekwondo, that they're great martial arts, but because they emphasize the sport aspect so heavily, it's another sport. It's not as a self-defense. It's not as a martial arts style. And Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is a martial arts style. It was developed by Gracie to work in a street application, in a disadvantage of size, in a disadvantage of age. If you're an older guy, 50 years old, and you have a 20 years old guy chasing you, if you try to use a sport, pretty soon you're going out of gas. But if you use the strategy of Jiu-Jitsu, of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, you can save your energy, you can save your gas, you can hitchhike in many moves, you still kind of protecting yourself 100% of the time, you're never vulnerable for strikes, and eventually you can win. That's how Jiu-Jitsu was about when I started. And today I see Jiu-Jitsu in a different kind of route. So I think the Rickson Gracie Global Federation came to the right time. He has a great message. I think what we need to do is promote more tournaments, promote schools to understand self-defense first. Bring the self-defense first. And after that, you can build the Jiu-Jitsu the way how you want to. Because down the road, your basics are always going to be self-defense. That's my opinion.
Okay, Professor, what is your involvement with the JJGF?
Well, I'm in the Board of Education, and I'm just giving advices. I'm just giving my points. I'm just trying to do my best to get people together to support and endorse the idea of the Global Federation, Jiu-Jitsu Global Federation, using Rickson Gracie as the main figure, as a guy who has an incredible aura, incredible disposition, and his love and passion for Jiu-Jitsu. It is something that's is just undoubtable, the most incredible that I've ever seen in my life. And use Rickson thoughts and ideas and image to try to get together a group of people to help to preserve the art of self-defense, of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu as a self-defense. I believe it is my best contribution would be to try to get those guys together, try to get the family together, try to get people from other schools, other affiliation, other groups together. Let's get together and let's work to preserve the art. That's what I'm trying to help the most.
What are some of the ways that the JJGF is working to raise awareness for their overall goal of the organization?
I just saw some requests for tournaments. I just received a couple of days ago a request for a tournament in Europe. And the tournament was, we don't want to use IBJJF rules. We want to implement more street application, more like awareness of not illegal moves, but the moves that can be done, as a, this butt scooting, things that people get penalized if they try to bring somebody down to the ground by just both guys sitting down, or stalling, or you score 2 points ahead and you don't do nothing anymore. You just duck your head and you don't move anymore. They try to come up with rules and strategies where the fight's got to keep on going till the end. You got to look for submission.
Also, there would be no time limit on the competition, or would it be rounds based? So it would just go until someone gets submitted?
No, we'll do time limits, but we'll be stalling. We try to prevent stalling.
Okay.
So even though you only have 10 minutes as a black belt, but you cannot stop. You cannot find a position where you hold the two sleeves, you find a position, and you just hold on for dear life. You have to let go. And from that position, now you're free, your opponent's free. We believe that the body's going to keep going in motion. You cannot stall. You cannot park your car in stall positions. That's kind of the idea, that is to make some rules where you cannot grab each other's gi just to hold. You can grab to apply a submission. You can grab to apply a sweep or to apply mechanic right after that. But you cannot hold for more than 5-10 seconds. You're going to get a warning. And every warning that you get deducted a point.
What if people want to get more information or want to get involved with the federation? What do they do?
Well, the best way to do is to to get in a website, log in a Jiu-Jitsu Global Federation, and be part of that, and keep asking questions, bring subjects. How can I do? What can I make that happen? Because what happened right now, the Global Federation is in a process to gathering people. So what Rickson tried to accomplish from the beginning was to get people to listen, to come to a website where they can have information and validate people that are involved with this Jiu-Jitsu Global Federation. So that's the beginning. Pretty soon, you guys, we're gonna see a lot more questions, a lot more information. You guys are gonna see the Gracie Academy be more involved. We're gonna see other. Rickson is trying to be somewhere in between, so he doesn't want to take sides. So Gracie Barra, Nova União, Alliance, Gracie Academy, Pedro Sauer, everybody come together with one goal. That's the idea initially. And of course, our goal is to preserve the art. That's the most important.
Fantastic. All right. Recently, there's been a little bit of a buzz between about the partnership between the Gracie Academy and the Pedro Sauer Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Association. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what's going on?
Yes, basically what happened is, for many years, a lot of people don't know that, but if I go back 20-something years ago, 25 years ago, when I came to America, I got my green card to the Gracie Academy. Jordan Grace was my sponsor for my citizenship in America. And he helped me out tremendously. And I opened the first non-Gracie Academy blood instructor in the history of the Gracie Academy. They never had another non-Gracie as an instructor. So he done a lot for me. And I always liked the style. My style of Jiu-Jitsu, what I learned as a Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, it was very similar what Hiro and Hannah has been doing at the Gracie Academy with the Gracie Combative. And if you see the guidelines the Gracie Combative has, it's very similar to the combative guidelines. It was very similar to the Pedro Sauer guidelines. We same way to promotion, 100 hours per stripe, minimum time frame to get promoted. Self-defense always came. We had to test everybody in self-defense. Our black belt test was 100% self-defense. Well, what those kids did, they brought up self-defense on the beginning. So the triangle that's like this, in our association, we taught self-defense right here on the tip when you're black belt. What they done is they flipped the tip backwards. They put the triangle backwards, where on the beginning, right from the beginning, you learn all the self-defense right here early. And in my mind, it was like, this is a very ingenious way, because as we know, we have a tremendous amount of people that quit Jiu-Jitsu on the early stage. They quit in the first years, first 6 months, first year and a half. Those are the most people that quit. 2 years, 2.5 years later, you see the dropout just go down a lot. When somebody gets close to purple belt, they're not dropping out anymore. They're very hooked in the art. They're ready. The worst is ready behind them. From that moment on, it's going to be a little bit easier because they know the mechanics. They pay all the dues as a white belt. They got tapped as much as a white belt. So they pay the dues back there. Well, with this being said, think about this. How many people, when the triangle was like this, how many people quit as a white belt, as a beginner for blue belt, that didn't have too much understanding about self-defense? They didn't practice. Because on the beginning of the curriculum was not so much self-defense. Well, if this curriculum change and you put the self-defense right in the beginning, if somebody quit on the first year, at least you, myself, everybody as an instructor, we know, hey, you know what? I gave self-defense to this guy. I know he's no longer the same guy anymore. I know he's ready to protect himself. I know he's ready to protect his joints. I know I gave to this guy something extra. Not just the ground and pound, the Jiu-Jitsu against Jiu-Jitsu. That's something that not so many people understand. Is the blue belt that the Gracie Combative give does not prepare the guy to deal jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu. Prepare the guy to do jiu-jitsu against a bad guy. The bad guy always come against a jiu-jitsu guy, and the jiu-jitsu guys always come with a good explanation, a good counterattack, a good mechanics to deal with a bad guy. And with this, builds a self-confidence that for you to learn self-defense in the early stage, get you prepared to deal with unpredictable people early. And those early stage is gonna stay with you forever as a basics. That with the Gracies, and that's how are very proper and almost like love, because we already have the same ideas. The only thing we did, we flipped the triangle like this. So the base of the triangle now, that's where we learn the most self-defense. And I'm gonna tell you the results that we're gonna see on the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years ahead. You can mark my words. You're gonna see incredible people coming out of this.
Okay, what does the partnership mean for the Pedro Sauer Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Association? What is changing as far as the association is concerned?
Well, the way how we change this, we add a curriculum on top of our existing curriculum. That's what I'm doing here in my school. And I want people to come to the school, to come to the academy, and every single person who walks at this door, I wanted the person to experience a Gracie combative. I wanted them to come to the combative first. I wanted them to understand self-defense application first. I wanted them to understand self-protection first. After they have understandable about self-protection, self-defense, they are more savvy. And the thing that's amazing about this is that you go home every night with a sense of accomplishment. When you put jiu-jitsu to work against a bad guy, the jiu-jitsu work all the time. Now, when you put jiu-jitsu to work against jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu work all the time. But the problem is the new guy that's just barely learned jiu-jitsu, he goes home always demoralized.
I can remember
that. Makes sense?
Yeah. I still get that frequently.
So you've implemented a lot of this at the academy, at the new school. What kind of changes have you seen from it around the school?
Well, one change that I see, first of all, I see people coming in and not getting hurt. The level of injuries dropped down. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I noticed is the quality of people that coming in. Is one thing when we developed our school, and I've done it all. You know, I've been teaching in America for 26 years. And I've seen it all. I see all kind of coming in and go. I see all kind of students, you name it. I had a word talent wrestlers in my school for years. Mark Schultz trained in my school for 3 years. And I used to muscle guys, wrestling. I saw steroids. I saw every kind of everything that you can possibly imagine. I saw happen in jiu-jitsu. And I can guarantee you one thing. No matter who you are, on the end of the day, when we go home, we are all the same. We all get hurt the same way. When we lay down in bed, we are just the same kind of people, same kind of human bodies. We all get hurt. We all get sore. We all gonna ask our wives, honey, can you please do a massage on my neck? Honey, can you please do a massage on my shoulder? Honey, I got a little bit tweaky here. Honey, I got a little tweak there. We all done that. I don't care how tough you are. You go home, the pain starts bothering your leg, you're knocking in your body. You're gonna cry. You're gonna whine. You're gonna talk like a normal human being. I know the wrestlers, the toughness, the good martial arts practitioner, we suck it up and we do it again. But the problem is that 90% of the public that could benefit from jiu-jitsu, they walk back home. They don't want to come back anymore. Mm-hmm. They're not ready for this anymore. And we could have prepared those guys so much easier, especially in the beginning. They could walk in a more friendly, soft, easy approach of jiu-jitsu by doing self-defense, early stage, Jiu-Jitsu against a bad guy. You go home, you feel yourself, man, I learned some good moves today. You know what? This guy tried to swing a punch against me and I block every punch. This guy tried to headbutt me. I block every headbutt. I feel I'm learning something here. And that preparation that's going to happen in the beginning is going to allow the fresh new guy to stay a little bit longer with more motivation, with more sense of accomplishment, with less sense of a demoralization. You come back next day ready to learn more moves because you practice your moves against a bad guy, not against Jiu-Jitsu, like we all done it. Jiu-Jitsu against Jiu-Jitsu, only 10% of people stays. Jiu-Jitsu against a bad guy, we go up to 80%. So it is a huge difference if you want to build on a school and build an academy.
Okay, the next topic is you recently went on a cruise, a Jiu-Jitsu cruise, and I believe it is one of your immersion camps. Can you tell me a little bit about what happened? Did you have a good time on there?
Yes, that was a great time. The cruise was great. You know, everything was very nice. We had an incredible amount of Jiu-Jitsu. We have 115 people coming to the cruise.
Wow.
78 practitioners, just doing Jiu-Jitsu pretty much every day. And we had like Rylan Lazares, Henry Akers, Jeff Curran. We have myself, tons of black belts. Mike Horhan. We have little Joey. We have an incredible amount of talent people. We have a brown belt. Courtney from Wisconsin, incredible talent lady, just unbelievable amount of people there. And we all got together and we trained Jiu-Jitsu pretty much all day when the ship was in the movement. When the ship was cruising, we all got together on the mat since 7 o'clock in the morning. Was people already there.
Really? Oh, wow.
That was a great experience.
So you guys had opportunities to train the entire day.
Very nice.
They just set up a mat
pretty much
in a room
day
for you? That's fantastic.
Yes, Zebra came on, and Zebra put the nicest brand new mats, very nice. Zebra was just outstanding amount of people. They are always doing a great job. They're so helpful. They always so motivated to help us all the time. So anybody who does tournament, who does anything, Zebra has everything by the book for you guys. It's just unbelievable. Great amount of people there.
Are you planning on doing it again anytime soon?
We don't have a date for the next one, but due to the results of the first one, there was a lot of people there, amount of attendance there. So I believe we're going to do it again. I think we're maybe going to choose, open the possibility for different kind of cruise, maybe smaller, a little bit smaller, not so long. We've done 7 days this time. Maybe can go to the Bahamas, a little bit less than 7 days, maybe 4 days, give and take. We are in experience right now. And the Grapple Escape, they're doing a great job. The lady, Kathleen, that does the coordinate everything, she's on top of everything. I have no complaints, nothing. She just worked very hard, relentless to make the cruise be 5-star. And that was a great experience for everybody.
Awesome.
That sounds awesome. Alan, hold on one second. I want to know more about this cruise. Where can we find out about these? Are they open to anybody to join?
They're open to anybody. It's anybody can join. We have people from every kind of the affiliation, every kind of black belt. Doesn't matter who you are. You are always going to get something really good out of the cruise. We don't have, for the next cruise, we don't have any information yet. We just got done last week. But called the Grapple Escape. You can be Facebook. You can log in. We all try to promote for the next one. And we don't have dates the next one, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing some more often because it was a great result. Definitely
interested. That sounds awesome.
It was fun.
I know you have camps in Brazil as well. Tell me a little bit about that and how often do you do those?
The camps in Brazil, they are a great opportunity. We do about two camps a year. One somewhere in August. That's going to be this next month. We still have 3 spots left. In this camp, we don't need to have a visa. So Brazil, because the Olympics, they're waiving the visa. So for this time, it's going to be a lot easier. Save you a couple $100 as a visa. And we do about 7 days and 10 days camp in Brazil. We do in Petrópolis, state of Rio de Janeiro, little town up in the mountains. That's a paradise. We spent 7 to 10 days in this incredible state that used to belong to my grandfather. It was my grandfather's summer home that I bought and I transformed in pretty much in a hotel. It's a bed and breakfast hotel called the Pousada. And when you're there, you got the best meals every day, 3 meals a day. We have a transportation, safe, everything included. We go to different schools to visit other academies. You train between 4 to 6 hours per day. Even more if you're fanatic. Depending on you, the mat is there 24/7. It is a great opportunity. The meals are delicious, fresh fruits every day. You're gonna have like a filet mignon every single day. That's how the camp is run. 5-star camp. We don't cut no shortcuts there. It's just incredible.
Where do we sign up, right?
I want both of those things, the cruise and the camp. That's awesome.
We'd never get any work done, man. You know, what would happen? All right.
Yeah. In Brazil can still work. Internet connection. You can do anything from Brazil.
Okay, sold.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we generally follow a topic on the podcast. This month, we're talking about designing training programs, either for yourself or students. How do you put them together? How often do you train yourself, or if you're bringing up a student, how often do you set training sessions for them?
Well, Alan, I say I've been trying to reinvent the wheel since I moved to America. When I came to the United States, 1990, I was having dinner with Gracie, and I asked him, Master, I'm not sure how I'm going to be teaching guys in America. First of all, I don't speak the language. It's going to take me some time to learn the language. Second of all, those guys are huge. They are very big guys. Everybody here is bigger. And the third aspect is that America, we are here in America. We don't like to lose that often. America likes to win. We like first place. We have the first economy. We are the best people. We are the most dedicated people. We don't like second place here in America. And I was wondering, Grandmaster Helio, how are we going to be teaching people there? Because in Jiu-Jitsu, you got to lose every day. You got to lose a lot. It's going to be a trick. And Grandmaster Helio would say, Pedro, just go ahead and make them say, uncle, they have to be believers first. That's the first important. That's the first message you got to do. After the believers, you can break down. Well, I've been trying to follow Education Founding Company. I followed Steve Laval in Florida for many years. I followed David Kovar for many years. I signed up for every kind of course you can possibly imagine. I try to make myself more knowledgeable how to run a business. And I always fell back to the same old, you know what? I'm from Brazil. Guess what? I'm laid back. I'm easygoing. Let's do like this, my friends. No problem. Let's grapple. Let's roll. So in the end, I always kind of fall back on the same easygoing Brazilian style, Brazilian way. Mm-hmm. Well, when I got married with an American lady, my wife, and I was like, uh-oh, that was a little bit different. It's not the Brazilian way anymore. Now it's started being the American way. And I started to apply this on Jiu-Jitsu. That's what I started to do. And I'm an easygoing guy. I got 6 daughters myself. They're all born and raised here. They're out here in America, being educated in America. And because of my personality, I always try to learn. I'm a white belt for life. I got a white belt here all the time. So no matter where or who, I always close my mouth and I open my eyes. And I'm always learning. So I apply this, and that's what I believe that myself and the Gracie Academy, when I saw what those kids, and Hannah was doing at the Gracie Academy, that was like a major wake-up call for me, because I noticed that those kids, they are Brazilian kids, but they're not Brazilians. They're born and raised in America. And those guys, they have a proper, they're clean, they're by the book. I never heard those kids swear. I never heard those kids talk negative about nobody. I never heard them talk negative about nothing. Every single time, yes, I understand your point, but if you go this way, if you go that way, oh, I got it. Interest. That's what they talk about. They are always willing to talk about other things. A lot of the people was put those guys down because they're giving belts away. And that's what I heard too. I used to hear that. But when I understand what those guys are doing is so much more. It is like a life. It's like they're 100 years ahead. When they talk about running a business, when they talk about martial arts approach, when they talk about building characters, when they talk about building discipline, when they talk about building people to fight, you can see what the kid's name, Brian Ortega. You got to wondering about, man, hold on a second. Is Brian Ortega a black belt? He competed in every IBJJF tournament? He never done it. So Brian Ortega, his past, I was being the Gracie combative. Look what he done in the octagon. So anyway, when I saw what Brian Ortega did in the octagon, I was curious about, because I understand that Brian Ortega did not progress in Jiu-Jitsu using sport Jiu-Jitsu or going to tournaments or training in different schools. He was 100% merged at the Gracie Academy doing this Gracie combative. And I believe he does an incredible job by not getting hit, by minimizing damage, by controlling distance. And that was a curiosity for me. I was like, that's something over there. And after that, I saw Lyoto Machida. Lyoto Machida was the same. Lyoto was not a guy who was a Jiu-Jitsu guy who came from the rank of white, blue, purple, brown, and black, doing competition, doing tournament. He was just merged, doing combative. And even though he does not, at the time, had the ground skills, as a black belt, somebody who's going to wrap you around, who's going to tweak you all over the place, he was very good managing distance, controlling the skeleton. And that's what impressed me the most, is those two guys, they only got exposed to the combatives. And they done pretty good in the octagon. That was a wake-up call for me there. That was pretty, just give me a different perspective.
I had one more question. This is about something that you've shared with me at the school several times when you've been here, and a lot of the guys, and it's related to self-defense as well. It always seems to come up under the topic of self-defense, and you would refer to it as self-defense for your joints and your body. It's always great material. Could you share that again and your outlook on that one more time?
Well, basically, when we start learning Jiu-Jitsu, we need to protect our joints. It is something that we don't have mentally. A new student, he thinks he is capable to do something, but he is only capable to do something in some extension. And the other extension require a partner to help him, to guide him, or to hurt him. So, as I believe, as instructors, we need to kind of teach a new student, almost like you want to teach somebody how to speak, how to teach a new language. It's one thing, martial arts, when we come to the school, we believe, deep down here in our mind, we believe like, yeah, if I get in a fight, if somebody try to fight me, I close my fist and I clock him with my right fist, kick him in the groin, or elbow him over there. We have a little dream as a human beings. We all have this dream that we could do something. Well, reality proves to be pretty different. When we get in the school, we discover that our dreams doesn't take us nowhere. So we definitely need somebody to help us, to guide us, to treat us like a little kid, like a little baby, because we need to protect our joints. Like myself, Pedro Sauer, when I started doing Jiu-Jitsu 44 years ago, my first year of Jiu-Jitsu, I got my arm popped. My arm got half extended because I thought I could escape. I thought the arm bar was not there. When I fell, tuck, there was a pop. Well, it was my fault. I didn't know nothing. I was a brand new guy, white belt. Well, guess what? We all been there too before one day. We all got our joint exposed somewhere by some who that hold on, and then they broke our arms. But unfortunately, a lot of people got the arm twigged. A lot of people got the shoulder twigged. A lot of people got the knee twigged. And what happened that we lose the student, somebody who could be an incredible practitioner, he just stopped training because he got mistreated from the beginning. So I believe that new guys, we need to treat them differently. We need to walk them. We need to teach them how to, first of all, say A-E-I-O-U. After that, we need to teach him how to say A-B-C-D. After that, we need to teach him how to make a word, hungry, bathroom, words. And after that, you put a phrase. After you put a phrase together, you have to start to come up with the conversation with your opponent. So it's a dialogue. Most guys are talking about. I believe that if we prepare people to do that, we're going to have an incredible amount of talent, intellectual people come to our academies. That's going to make a school not to be with 50 guys, 60 students, 100 students. We are going to have 500, 600, 1,000 students because we're going to bring people in and they're going to bring their friends with them. They're not going to bring the enemies. When you bring a white belt to your school and you whip him left and right, he's thinking about here, man, what's my friend that was a jerk that I want to bring him? I want my jerk friends to come here. I want them to feel that. You ever thought about that? Now, can you imagine? You are getting your butt worked in class every single night. You're getting murdered. You're getting raped every class. You're going to bring your best friend, an intellectual, a judge, an attorney, and a lawyer, a doctor. You're going to bring him to get your butt kicked the same way that you did it? That's what you're thinking about? Or you'll be thinking about bringing the guy who drinks beer with you and party that was obnoxious. I need to bring that obnoxious guy here for him to receive a AAA. Not the judges, not the lawyers. Hey, this is reality. And if you have never thought about that, it's because sometimes we're too early in the game. We're too young on the game. We have not experienced the ups and downs, economies, academies going up, how hard you work to get your academy to going up, and how easy the academy goes down. When we understand as entrepreneurs, as a good people, and when I talk about entrepreneurs, I'm not talking about people who likes money. I'm talking about people who wants to give a better service to the community. You want to make sure that your community around you, because you as an instructor, you're going to be able to bring the knuckleheads, you're going to be able to bring the doctors, the lawyers, and put all those guys underneath the same roof and make them be a better person using Jiu-Jitsu strategy, using martial arts strategy. Now we talk about you making a huge difference. And that's what we are here for. If you think about, man, I don't want to teach you just for the jerk ones. Well, guess what? I don't want to either. But I have the obligation to get the jerk ones and try to make them be a better person. And if you think Jiu-Jitsu did not, unless you do believe that Jiu-Jitsu didn't make you a better person, I believe it does. I believe it do. So why not get the jerk guys and make them better human beings?
I have a quick question for you. When you're talking about your class setups, if I'm a new student and I'm signing up to train at your school, can you tell me what to expect in my first week? Like, let's say my first couple of classes. What does my first what does a regular class look like for me? I'm a new guy. Like, do I train for an hour? Is there a warm-up section, then techniques, and then rolling? Or how do you normally structure your classes?
normally when we start the class, we have a tennis cards, and we have moves that people has to learn moves. They have learning mechanics. So when you line up everybody and you show, okay, now today you're going to be doing class number 10, and the move, you can gain escape from a headlock, and you put everybody there, and we demonstrate the move. You have a little dialogue between the instructor and the bad guy. So the bad guy is holding the instructor. You see, I'm here putting pressure. Did you feel this? Now he turned a little bit. Oh, now I feel I feel my throat getting a little bit. Now you turn the other way. Oh, now I feel a little bit better. You create a little discussion environment between the instructor and the bad guy to make the student that's a new guy to keep in his mind, get the ball rolling. So when you lay down and you're going to work in the headlocks, make sure you turn your body sideways like this. You're going to release a little bit pressure in your neck. You're going to be able to breathe a little bit better. Now, the next thing to do, don't let the guy head come down. So you make a little frame. So we create the little movements. And after that, you say, okay, guys, now for anybody here who's seen this move before, please take one step forward. Now turn around and look at the guy behind you who have not seen the move yet. And you pair up with him and walk him as a little baby, as a baby steps. Go from the move from 1 to 2 to 3, A, B, C. Bring the guy slowly, and don't fight, don't hold, don't rip the guy's head off. You're here to help him to understand how to use his skeleton to survive. That's the number one. Use your skeleton to survive. Number two, use less muscles possible. Don't muscle yourself out of there. Don't try to fight against positions. Try to find position where you're comfortable and you're no longer vulnerable. You no longer have to tap just because you're in panic. Try to be comfortable. Try to develop a position to breathe. Now, can you feel now? Can you breathe a little bit now? You feel more comfortable? Now I'm going to try to touch your face. And you're going to try to stop. Imagine this touch here could be a strike. Can you still breathing? Can you still breathing and at the same time stop the strike? Those are the phases that you take as a new guy for him to be a believer and for him to use jiu-jitsu against a bad guy. Not jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu against a bad guy. When he starts doing this, he does the mechanic. He feel like, man, I'm stopped. I think I can stop some bad guys. If the guy's in the parking lot and hold my headlock, I probably could stop him. And that's how you start. That's how you initiate the learning process of jiu-jitsu. Is by creating a perfect, safe environment. When the environment is there, you will be able to learn jiu-jitsu against a bad guy first. Down the road, when you know all the moves that a bad guy can do against you, okay, now, my friend, that you already know how a bad guy behaves, now let's start talking about jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu. That just comes later. Jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu. Just think about that. For Alan, for myself, for every single person who start doing jiu-jitsu, on the first day of class, you walk in the school, it's jiu-jitsu against jiu-jitsu. Every time, every school. And how you progress with that? Well, it's very difficult. We are the 10% that survive that.
Yeah.
But what about the 90% that quit? That's the key right there, my friend. That's what I know.
I love how you broke that down. Just a little bit more detail. Now, down the road, the sport jiu-jitsu starts coming in after they take care of the self-defense part. Is some of that brought in at each belt level, or do you have to be a certain belt level before you start seeing that material, more of the sport-oriented stuff?
Well, anybody can see that. You can bring a black belt in jiu-jitsu today that if you try to swing a punch on him, he probably doesn't know how to defend it. If you try to headbutt him, he probably doesn't know how to stop it. If you try if you give a knife, if you hold a knife and you try to hold the knife like this or like that or sideways or backwards, doesn't matter. He probably is not going to have the answer for that. So even somebody is a black belt will benefit tremendously if you start learning self-defense. That's the Rickson Gracie mentality for the Global Federation, is to make sure the black belts will understand this art, the art of self-defense. We have to have that. And it doesn't change anything. A black belt, because we have so much more time on the mat, what's the sport time on the mat, sometimes a little bit tricky for you to let go your sport desire to score 2 points, your commitment to make 2 points, your commitment with a sweep, and put your hands between somebody's legs and forget how to block his arm. Those things, those are the most challenge for somebody who already know how to fight, who already know how to grapple jiu-jitsu. You need to break down your muscle memory. You need to bring your muscle memory back to the early days and say, hold on a second, don't put your hand over here. Make sure you block the knife first. Make sure you block the hand first, because their hand could easily be a punching swing come to your head. So that's the things that we need to remember, that we are here to provide a service to the community. And as a jiu-jitsu community, even the schools that do a lot of competition, we have maybe 10% of the students devote to compete. What about the other 90%? You know, they are being served well as a competition-only school? Or you think they will serve them better if you bring knives, clubs, you know, chairs, any kind of grass, any kind of situation. Imagine you're sitting in your car. You are inside in your car and you have a bad guy who sits side by side with you. What are we gonna do? And the guy has a knife in their hands. What are you gonna teach your students? You as a black belt that right now you are 100% sport-oriented guy. How are you gonna answer this question to your students? Impossible. And I think that's the point that we as instructors, we need to focus the most. Focus on the submissions, focus on self-defense early, and you're going to be providing service to everybody. That's my personal opinion.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on with us, Professor.
Thank you,
It's always
Professor.
an honor and always fantastic information. Greatly appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure, man. I really appreciate that. I want to make sure to say hi to Eric Paulson, and of course, a good friend of mine, great guy. Love the guy. Always a great ambassador for martial arts. I know Eric's is one of the best friends of my first black belt, Greg Nelson, who always speaks so highly about Eric Paulson. And of course, Alan Baker, my friend, I really appreciate what you're doing. I think you're doing a wonderful job. I think what you do as a martial arts instructor, as a martial arts figure, as a presence on the mat, I couldn't be happy to have you as a black belt and having you sharing moves, sharing techniques. I think you're just a top-notch guy that I'm very proud of you, amigo. So I really appreciate what you're doing.
Well, that means a lot coming from you. Thank you very much. And one of these days, I want to get you and Eric on one of these podcasts. I think that would be fantastic. So I'm going to ask again in the future. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. All the best, guys. Take it easy. Keep training and always be safe.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, amigos. Good to see you guys.
All right, perfect. This podcast is brought to you by Eric Paulson's Combat Submission Wrestling Professional Coaches Association. We are striving to be one of the top organizations in the world for professional martial arts instructor training and business development in the martial arts industry. For more information, you can contact me, Alan Baker, at cswatlanta@gmail.com or through the main website at ericpaulson.com.